Yo, JD here, and if you haven't seen my face before, this is it. So, face reveal. And as you can see, I am in my room. I'm not at the Renault factory or anything today. I'm just in my room, my play seat there. If you haven't seen it before, first time again. But we'll be talking about my F1 Esports series. We'll be just talking about my basically experience of the event, going through race by race, my expectations, and answering a few people's questions at the end. And I'll be doing this for each event. Hopefully, I compete in all events, and I'll just be going through my experiences day by day, the structure of it, and just letting you know my thoughts. So the structure of it was that on Monday, I actually went down to Enstone, the Renault factory, had a really good tour there, got to see the whole factory piece by piece, and it was absolutely incredible to me to do that. And on Tuesday or Monday, we went back to London. So we got transferred to London. And then on the Tuesday, yeah, we had the media day. And to be honest, not really too much actually happened there. We just had a few photos, probably only took about 5 to 10 minutes of photos. And that was it for the day. So I think they could have maybe structured that a little bit better. But it was really awesome to see everyone again. And obviously Wednesday being the main day. So Tuesday was just media day, just a few interviews, a few photos, what I need for the production. Went out for a meal in the evening. And then Wednesday, we got in at 9. Again, just kind of just chilling out for quite a while. And then we had half an hour to set up our rig. So this is the Fanatec CSL Elite package, the Club Sport Pro, I believe, with the Formula Rim. Really, really nice wheel. I got sent mine about a day before, so I didn't really get too much chance to actually practice. Wasn't really the wheel, the steering I needed to get used to. It was mainly the brake, because I actually used a Thrustmaster at home and I used a clutch pedal as a brake, so it's quite a big difference for me. So that was the thing I was most nervous about going into the event. But honestly, we had half an hour to set up the rig, so just changing the position, just changing the distance you had between yourself and the pedals, etc., stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of people coming around doing that. And for me, it went quite smooth. The only thing I kind of complained about was my screen was a little bit tilted like that. But apart from that, I was pretty comfortable with it. I know other people had issues because it's not going to be perfect for everyone. You can have exactly the same setup at home, but when you actually get there, you kind of got to expect that it's not going to be exactly the same as what you have at home. So I expected that. Wasn't completely the same, but I just said to myself, you just need to really get on with it, deal with it, and that's pretty much it, really. So I was a bit nervous going to the event because I didn't really get too much of a chance to actually practice with the wheel itself, which to some people is quite a big deal. But for me, I just said the braking points are going to be the same. You just go apply different pressure. The turning points are going to be the same. It's the same degree of rotation. The only thing I was also nervous about was just getting used to the button layout, how to change ERS in the fuel mix, because I'm used to doing it in my left hand, whereas with this wheel, I have to do it with my right hand. So that was a bit of adjusting, but to me, it wasn't really that bad. Within a few laps, I got used to it quite well, and I was kind of confident. Going into the first practice session in Australia, I think I validated my first 2 laps, got a final run in of a 19.2, which is not a bad time, only 4 attempts off pole, started P11, and in the race, I just kept on. I just had a good start, made sure I was clean. My strategy going into it was just to be as clean as possible because sim damage is actually on. So to be as clean as possible, not get any damage. Started on the ultra soft, got a really good start, made up a few positions at the start, then overtook Patrick Holzman and then Fabrizio Delgado. Had a good battle with the Flying Finn and those guys as well, and ended up in P6 in the race. But since Formula Danny had a penalty because he spent the pit lane, that actually promoted me to P5, which I was really, really not expecting at all. So that was a really good result in the first one. Second race at China, we had only 10 minutes practice for this. Normally, we have 20 minutes per track, but since we were a little bit behind schedule, we only had 10 minutes. But I was really confident into this one because Australia, that was probably the track I was the least confident at. So to get a P5 there was pretty much a dream start for me. I did not expect that. So going into China, I was really confident, had a really good setup for that track. But in qualifying, it actually started to rain and I was last out on track. I was one of the last people out on track. So by the time I went across the line, I kind of just left it a bit too late. I should have gone out about 20 or seconds so before. He had to go out straight away. I left it a bit, and by the time I crossed the line, the track was, I think I lost over 6 to 7 attempts to the pole man. in the last sector alone, and I was only a second off, so that maybe qualifying P13. Again, had a really good start, but then I got wing damage, I think, from a Haas driver who just slowed down in front of me. There's nothing I could do. I was trying to be really cautious not to get any damage. Lost half my wing, had to pit on lap 2, and that was it, really. I only finished a couple seconds outside the points. I had to do a 9-second pit stop instead of a 2-second pit stop. So I was really gutted about that, to be honest, because China was a really good track for me, and I felt I could have fought for even a podium or top 5 on pace. That's how confident I was going into that one. So no points there. Finished just outside the points, which was not what I was looking forward to. And then we moved on to Baku, which again was a pretty big surprise for me. A track, well, I do like in the past, but on the wheel, it's very, very difficult to hook up a lap. I promise you, it is so difficult to hook up a lap around there. But qualifying, in the practice session, I only got to do 1 lap because we only got to do like 5 or 10 minutes. Validated my first lap, went straight into the pits and did a 1 full lap of practice. And that was it with the wheel. But then in qualifying, I was actually on pole for about 5 to 10 minutes of a session. I managed to do 36.5, which I really was not expecting at all. And then ended up eventually, I think, in P5, P6, only a few tenths off pole with a 136.5. And I think pole was either 2 or 1. So I was really happy with that. And in the race round there, I literally just wanted to be as cautious as possible. I just didn't want to hit the wall. I didn't want to hit the castle section. I dropped some places at the start because I got squeezed in turn 1. I was on the inside of the Timp, and then I think one of the McLaren guys came around the outside, and it was getting pretty dodgy on the inside. So I just really cut my losses, gave up those 2 positions, really conceded those 2 positions, and then just took it home in P8. So 2 points finishes, I think, at China. I think the pace, if I managed to get a good qualifying, I was really confident I could get at least top 5 round there, top 6, top 5. And we're actually P9 in the championship now because someone else had a penalty that race. So overall on P9, I think I'm only 5 points off P4 overall in the championship, which I was pretty sure I could have got more than 5 points at China. So it really exceeded my expectations. I did not expect that at all. And yeah, I didn't expect that at all, considering I've been in the controller for many, many years. And these guys I'm racing against, these are the best drivers in the world in this game. And to even be on the same pace as a lot of them is pretty satisfying to me. So the event overall, I found went pretty well. My teammate Sven, he had a few little issues just with qualifying and with his rig and stuff as well. And I know a lot of other people had a lot of issues as well. So hopefully next event will be a little bit smoother for them. I'm really looking forward to that because we've got Silverstone, Spa and Paul Ricard, which are probably one of my 3 strongest tracks on the game. So if I had a good event this first event, I'm really looking forward to this one. Try not to get ahead of myself, just completely reset, just forget about that first event that happened and just do the best I can. And that's what I'm looking to do. So now we'll be answering a few questions. So Jan Failer says, how much practice did you do for each track? Did a fair amount of practice. I focused on Australia quite a lot because I was the least confident around there. So I'd say that track quite a lot. I didn't really get to do too much practice with my actual wheel itself. I pretty much had to do it on the Thrustmaster. But I'd say in the last week, probably a good 3 or 4 hours per day in the last week is what I would say, definitely for sure. Jess Games asks, what are your thoughts going in your head about the fact that it was your first time racing in front of a live audience? Was it daunting, nerve-wracking, exciting, or a mixture of all 3? And that's a really good question. I think for me, it was quite surprising. I was actually pretty comfortable racing in front of a live audience. It's just the fact that everyone has the same equipment, everyone's suffering the same environment, the same circumstances, the same pressure in a way. I know there's a lot of pressure on a lot of people, whereas you're at home, sometimes there's not that much pressure, but for some reason, I just get a little bit more nervous when I'm at home. I'm not quite sure why, because I know everyone can perform at their peak performance, whereas I know in front of a live audience, the setups are not going to be, the rig setups are not going to be perfect. It's going to be a little bit out of their comfort zone. I really like to try and take advantage of that. So for me, I wasn't really nervous at all, to be honest. I was really I had a lot of adrenaline during the event, and I think that really helped me to perform well, and I loved it, to be honest. I didn't really feel that much nerves. I just really wanted to just execute what I could do, and yeah, I was genuinely more excited than I was nervous. And Alex Skinner from Alex Sim Racing says, When arriving and sitting inside the rig, how long did it take you to dawn on you the scale of everything and how far e-racing and esports has come in the past half decade and how much pressure you felt due to it? Kind of what Jess was saying, the pressure, I didn't really feel, I know there's a pressure to deliver for your team and for yourself, but I really did enjoy that. I think I actually performed best when people were watching me. I think that's whenever I did my live streams, I always performed pretty well. And I think that's the same for a live event. I really kind of took hold of the opportunity and I really enjoyed that. In terms of the scale of everything, it's pretty big. I never expected it in the last 4 to 5 years. If you said that to me at that time, I would never thought this is possible. But I think this is only the beginning. And if this is the scale of it now, in the future, I'm really looking forward to what it can actually be. So the scale of it was pretty big, how it was organized and everything. But I just really just focused on what I was doing and just pretended I was at home. And then next year, we'll see what kind of production goes into again, because I think it'll be, yeah, absolutely massive. Callum Teasdale says, any idea of where you'll finish overall in the esports league? My goal is to do the best I can. My goal is to win for Renault, of course, for us to win as a team, because that's what we want. We want to win the constructors. That's where the actual real objective is to try and win the constructors. So whoever my teammate is per event, whoever my teammates are competing, all we want to do is just win that. For me personally, individually, I just want to do the best I can. Got to be realistic, because I know we've got the best drivers in the world here. You've got Brendan Lee, you've got Danny, Johnny Tomler, Patrick Holzman, Rasmussen. The list goes completely on, and they've got much more experience than me in real life competitions. This is my first live one. But for me, realistically, if I could get in the top 6, top 7, or probably even the top 10 individually, if I could do that, I would say that's a pretty good result. But I just want to do the best I can. I know I can race with these guys. I believe in myself. That's what I did in the first event. And I just want to keep that up for the rest and then literally just see where it takes me from there. And Orange Ben says, how nervous are you at an official esports race in comparison to an ILR or AOR race? Quite a common question. It's a weird answer, because I actually feel more nervous doing an AOR race. I don't know why, because I know everyone's in their perfect setup at home. They can reach their max potential. I know there's lag involved online as well. At this event, there were no glitches. There were no real issues at all. There wasn't really any technical difficulties or anything at all. There's the host that when we did practice would leave the session sometimes, but during the race, there was no desyncing for me. There was no lag cars or lagging or anything, or screen freezes or anything at all. I think the event was actually pretty smooth itself as well. So the pressure, I knew it was going to be a completely level playing field, whereas on Xbox, I get a bad start at times, but everyone should have the same start. Everyone should have the same physics, the same screen, the same settings. It's completely level playing field, apart from obviously you do your own setup. But that's why I didn't really feel much pressure, because I knew with my ability, I believe in myself. I knew if I perform my best, then it'd be good enough to get in the points at least and to do maybe a surprise result. So that's what I'm taking into every single time. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Rather than feel the pressure and get nervous, I tried to use that energy to make it positive and just really give me the strength and just to focus on what I'm actually doing. And Alex Hands, which is the Williams Esports drivers, Cinetic, if I got that right, I'm sorry if I didn't. He said a few of the drivers struggled with nerves. What helped you to stay so calm? And can you show me a magic trick next time? And yeah, he is absolutely unreal with magic. I will record that next time, because he is just, if he doesn't make it in esports or sim racing, then seriously, you need to become a magician. But in terms of the nerves, I just tried to focus on me. I just tried to not really muck around or anything. I tried to stay really professional. As I was saying before, I just know it's pretty much a level playing field for everyone. No one's going to have the perfect setup like I do at home. And you just got to just focus on you. You just got to be in your own bubble, really. Try not to look at your teammate or the screen next to you or the screen ahead of you, which you saw in the setup, in the production. You had the screens in front of you so you could read it. I was literally just trying to just focus on myself, pretend I was in my own room by myself. And even when I was off stage, I just tried to really just think about the next race, think about the strategy, think about the setup I was using, how I do change the fuel, the mix. I was thinking about that all the time, and it was down to me, really. It was down to me. There's no glitches that can destroy me or anything. I knew it was just completely down to me. If I delivered my best, I knew I'd have a good result. So I just stayed calm because I just thought it was within myself completely as well. And yeah, you're on TV and stuff, but it's the same for everyone. So I knew it was the same for everyone. So there's no point really getting nervous. You just go really just try and just focus on you. And that's what I recommend, because it's the same for everyone. Everyone gets nervous. That's completely natural, but you just got to try and use that power and just use it to better yourself. So, and TS Carl says, how are you feeling going to the second night? I think he means second event. For the second event, as I said, I'm not getting ahead of myself for the results I got in the first one. It was good personally for me. I really want Renault to do the best we can, try and get the most points next event. But for me, it's just one step at a time. For me, that's just completely gone. Completely forget that's ever happened. Just really focus on the tracks now, the practice. I know what I can do. I know what my teammates can do. I know what Renault can do. The amount they supported us has been amazing. And for the second event, I don't really have any expectations. I just expect to perform my best. If I can perform my best, then I think we'll get some good points. And I know my teammate feels the same as well. So my expectations is just try and take one race at a time, take it from there, and then see how many points we get at the end of the day. But for me personally, I've already set my goals. If I can get in the top 6, top 7 overall, I'd be really, really happy with that. If I could get a podium or win or podium this season, that would be an absolute dream for me from where I've come from. I'd be really, really happy with that. But for me, it's a team game. I want the most points for the team. So I'm just going to focus race by race and just do the best I can. And if we do that, I believe we'll do really well. So that is the end of this little post-thoughts thing. If you want to ask me anything, put it down below. I'll try and get back to it. I'll be in Spain next week. So thank you so much for supporting my channel, and I will see you next time. Peace.